Imagine the possibility of a single book capable of unraveling all the mysteries of the universe, a text so powerful that it would grant its reader the ability to control natural forces, manipulate time, and even defy death. This is the myth behind the Book of Thoth, a legendary work attributed to Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, and magic. But did this knowledge truly exist? Or is it merely a representation of a greater quest for spiritual enlightenment? To understand the depth of this myth, we must first know the central figure of the story, Thoth. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth was revered as the god of wisdom, writing, and time. He was considered the scribe of the gods, responsible for recording all events and ensuring the cosmic order, known as Ma'at. This order was not just a physical structure of the universe, but also a spiritual and moral balance that kept chaos at bay. Thoth, with his deep knowledge, was seen as the mediator between chaos and order. It is in the context of this tradition that the myth of the Book of Thoth arises. Supposedly written by the god himself, the book contained profound secrets about the creation of the universe, the most powerful magic, and the keys to controlling fate. The first references to this book appear in legends passed down through generations, carrying with them the fascination with knowledge so vast that it could grant unimaginable powers. But like many legends, its contents are shrouded in mystery, and the very existence of the book remains a matter of faith and speculation. Ancient legends speak of pharaohs and priests who dedicated their lives to seeking this secret knowledge. It is said that those who managed to decipher the words of the Book of Thoth would obtain power over the universe. However, this same power came with enormous risk. Stories tell that anyone daring to read the book without proper spiritual preparation would suffer terrible consequences, losing their sanity or even their life. This reinforces the idea that supreme knowledge, when handled recklessly, can be more of a curse than a blessing. The importance of this myth cannot be understated. In ancient Egyptian civilization, knowledge was seen as a sacred force. To control knowledge was to master the universe itself. The Book of Thoth was not just an object of curiosity, it represented humanity's desire for something beyond common understanding, something that transcended the material and reached the divine. This desire for power and control is a theme that echoes to this day. The allure of the Book of Thoth extended beyond the borders of ancient Egypt. Over the centuries, esoteric seekers from various cultures have drawn inspiration from this myth. The idea of a book of wisdom, containing hidden secrets, is a recurring theme in many mystical traditions. The pursuit of forbidden knowledge is a powerful narrative that reflects both human ambition and our deepest fears. And it is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about the responsibility that comes with it. If the book did indeed exist, what happened to it? This is a question that has intrigued historians and mystics alike. Some believe it may have been lost during the plundering of ancient libraries and temples, such as the famous Library of Alexandria. Others speculate that it was never a physical text, but rather a metaphor for a kind of inner knowledge, something that must be read with the eyes of the soul, not with the physical eyes. As we continue to explore this enigma, it becomes clear that the Book of Thoth is more than just a legend about a mystical artifact. It is a symbol of the power of knowledge and humanity's eternal quest for answers to the greatest mysteries of existence. As we delve into the story of this book, we also uncover something about ourselves and our relentless need to understand the universe and our place in it. As we move forward, we will explore the impact this myth has had on various cultures and spiritual traditions. But before we delve into these branches, we need to understand more about Thoth himself and what he represents. After all, one cannot understand the book without understanding its creator, and that is exactly what we will address in the next part, the mythology of Thoth and his intrinsic relationship with hidden knowledge. Thoth is one of the most enigmatic and complex figures in Egyptian mythology. His presence spans millennia, being mentioned as a central deity in the myths of creation and the functioning of the universe. Often depicted with the head of an ibis or a baboon, sacred animals associated with wisdom and knowledge, Thoth plays a crucial role not only as the god of writing, but also as the mediator between the world of the gods and the world of men. He is the divine scribe, the guardian of sacred records, and, as such, is directly linked to the power of knowledge. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth is seen as the one who gave humans the gift of writing and speech, allowing the transmission of wisdom from generation to generation. He is also strongly associated with magic and rituals, being known as the creator of magical formulas that ensure order in the cosmos. But Thoth was not merely a spectator of creation. He was an active part of it. According to myths, it was Thoth, alongside Ma'at, who maintained the balance of the universe, ensuring that justice and truth prevailed over chaos. This connection with cosmic balance is directly reflected in the legend of the Book of Thoth. This secret knowledge, which supposedly allows the reader to control the forces of the universe, is a reflection of Thoth's role as a mediator of order. The myth suggests that Thoth gathered in this book the knowledge necessary to maintain cosmic harmony, but also the power to destroy it if misused. The Book of Thoth, therefore, is not merely a manual of magic, it is the very secret of how reality functions. There is a deep connection between Thoth and the concept of Ma'at, cosmic order. Ma'at, personified as a goddess, represents truth, justice, and balance. While Thoth is often depicted recording human and divine actions, he does so in the name of Ma'at, ensuring that everything follows the natural flow of justice. This partnership between Thoth and Ma'at is essential to understanding the deeper meaning of the Book of Thoth. The book, in reality, can be seen as a manifestation of the knowledge that allows the creation and maintenance of universal order, but which, in the wrong hands, could bring chaos. Ancient texts mention that Thoth wrote the book during a time of great cosmic crisis, when the balance of the universe was threatened. In some versions of the myth, the book was written to protect Egypt from destructive forces, ensuring that the pharaoh, as a representative of Ma'at on earth, had the knowledge necessary to maintain balance. In other versions, the book was created to preserve cosmic knowledge for future generations, ensuring that wisdom would never be completely lost, even in the face of the greatest adversities. Various legends revolve around historical or mythological figures who sought the Book of Thoth. An interesting example is the story of Prince Setna Kamwas, son of Ramses II, who, according to myth, found the Book of Thoth in a secret tomb. The narrative tells that Setna, driven by curiosity and ambition, read the book and gained supernatural powers. However, his arrogance in manipulating cosmic forces resulted in his downfall, and he suffered severe punishments for challenging the universal balance. This story reflects a common theme in the legends surrounding the book: the danger of knowledge in the hands of those unprepared to understand it. Another important myth about the Book of Thoth involves the Sphinx. In Egyptian mythology, the Sphinx is often depicted as a guardian of deep secrets. Some legends suggest that the Book of Thoth was hidden in a secret location, protected by a Sphinx, and only those who could decipher its riddles were worthy of finding the book. This image of the Sphinx as a guardian of secrets reinforces the idea that divine knowledge must be earned, not simply obtained. There is also an interesting relationship between the Book of Thoth and the concept of reading. Unlike ordinary books, which can be read by anyone proficient in the language, the Book of Thoth requires more than just intellectual skill. It demands an elevated state of consciousness, a spiritual purity that allows the reader to understand not only the words, but also the true meaning behind them. The legend suggests that only those in harmony with universal order can read the book without suffering its consequences. This idea that only the worthy can access the knowledge contained in the Book of Thoth echoes across various esoteric traditions. Hidden wisdom is not something that can simply be studied or taught. It must be experienced and understood on a deeper level. This theme reappears in Hermetic philosophy, which, as we will see, was heavily influenced by the myth of Thoth. In summary, Thoth, as the god of wisdom, symbolizes the link between knowledge and power. His book, the mysterious Book of Thoth, is the embodiment of wisdom so grand that in the wrong hands, it could bring chaos. But as we will see in the next parts, the influence of the myth of Thoth and his book is not limited to ancient Egypt. Over the centuries, the legend of the Book of Thoth spread, influencing various esoteric and mystical traditions. The promise of absolute control over the universe, offered by the mythical Book of Thoth, raises intriguing questions about what truly lies in the depths of this secret knowledge. The accounts that have reached us suggest that the book contained secrets so profound they could alter the very fabric of reality, from the natural forces that govern the world to the mysteries of life and death. But this power came with a great danger. The knowledge of the Book of Thoth was not for everyone. Those who dared to read it without proper preparation risked losing their minds or being destroyed by the weight of the truths it revealed. This idea of forbidden knowledge, reserved only for the initiated, is not exclusive to Egyptian mythology. In various cultures and spiritual traditions throughout history, we find the notion that certain types of wisdom are beyond common human understanding. In the case of the Book of Thoth, this wisdom included absolute control over nature and the cosmos. It is said that those who mastered the teachings of the book would be able to manipulate the elements, control the weather, move mountains, and even resurrect the dead. A power so vast and unimaginable that even the gods feared it would fall into the wrong hands. According to Egyptian tradition, the Book of Thoth was kept secret for generations. Pharaohs and priests, aware of the power it contained, did everything to protect this knowledge, fearing that if misused, it could lead to total destruction. There are accounts that describe the book as being guarded by powerful curses and complex rituals, and that even approaching it without proper authorization would be an affront to the gods. This reinforces the idea that the book was not just a tool of power, but a spiritual test, a trap to test the purity and intention of those who sought it. The Book of Thoth, in many ways, was seen as a source of wisdom that transcends earthly life. It offered not only the ability to control the physical universe, but also access to the mysteries of the soul and the afterlife. Some legends claim that the book contained magical formulas capable of granting immortality, allowing the reader to master the forces of reincarnation and transcend the cycles of life and death. These stories have evoked both fascination and fear, as immortality, though tempting, carries profound spiritual and moral implications. There are also stories of those who attempted to decipher the Book of Thoth and failed. Legends tell of scholars and magicians who, driven by ambition or curiosity, risked everything to obtain this forbidden knowledge. Many met tragic ends, their minds consumed by what they saw, unable to handle the enormity of the truth revealed. Others were punished by the gods, facing curses that followed them even in death. These accounts serve as clear warnings about the dangers of knowledge without responsibility, a recurring theme in many mystical traditions. This forbidden wisdom, which requires rigorous spiritual preparation, also appears in other cultures. A classic example is the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the Garden of Eden. Like the Book of Thoth, the tree represented divine knowledge, something reserved only for the gods. Violating this rule by consuming the fruit of the tree brought about humanity's fall, once again showing that knowledge without control or maturity can lead to ruin. The myth of the Book of Thoth reflects this same warning. Divine knowledge should only be accessed by those ready to use it wisely. The spiritual preparation required to access the Book of Thoth was not just about intellectual study. It was necessary to achieve a level of purity and internal understanding, where the reader was in harmony with the cosmic order. This aspect is particularly interesting because it suggests that the knowledge of the book could not simply be transmitted or taught. It had to be experienced and understood on a deeper level, something that required discipline, self-control, and spiritual alignment with the forces of the universe. In this sense, the Book of Thoth represented more than a manual of power. It was a reflection of the spiritual journey itself. Throughout history, mystical and esoteric traditions have always emphasized the idea that true knowledge is not something external, but internal. The book, perhaps, was a metaphor for this inner quest for enlightenment. The control of the universe promised by its pages would, in fact, be the mastery of oneself, the deep knowledge of the laws that govern not only the physical world, but also the spiritual one. This connection between knowledge and moral responsibility echoes to this day. In many modern esoteric traditions, there is a belief that true power can only be attained by those who have transcended the ego and learned to live in balance with universal laws. The Book of Thoth, therefore, was not just a book of magic. It was a test, a trial for truth seekers, to see if they were worthy of accessing what lies in the depths of divine knowledge. The idea of forbidden knowledge and its consequences continues to fascinate us. The Book of Thoth is a powerful symbol of the tension between the desire to understand the universe and the recognition that not everyone is prepared to handle the answers. By exploring this myth, we begin to understand that the real challenge is not in finding the book, but in being spiritually prepared for what it might reveal. In the next part, we will delve into the lasting impact of the Book of Thoth on Western esoteric traditions. We will see how the myth intertwined with Hermetic philosophy and other mystical practices, creating a legacy that continues to influence seekers of wisdom to this day. The impact of the myth of the Book of Thoth transcended the borders of ancient Egypt and crossed through eras, cultures, and beliefs, leaving a profound mark on various esoteric traditions, especially in the West. One of the most evident legacies of this myth can be found in Hermetic philosophy, a set of teachings that emerged in antiquity and was directly influenced by the figure of Thoth, later syncretized with the Greek god Hermes, creating the figure of Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great, a reference to his divine wisdom, kingship, and power. In the Hermetic tradition, Hermes Trismegistus is seen as the supreme master of hidden knowledge, and his writings, particularly the famous Emerald Tablet, echo the principles of universal control attributed to the Book of Thoth. The famous phrase from the tablet, "As above, so below," encapsulates the concept that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. That is, understanding the universal laws is the key to mastering both the spiritual and material reality. This principle is perfectly aligned with the myth of the Book of Thoth, which suggests that true power comes from understanding the laws that govern the cosmos. Hermetic teachings, which arose from this fusion of Thoth and Hermes, became the foundation for many Western esoteric schools. Hermetic philosophy was one of the great influences during the Renaissance, a period when scholars and mystics sought to recover the wisdom of the ancients, believing it held the keys to spiritual transformation and the understanding of the universe's secrets. The Book of Thoth, as a representation of this lost wisdom, became an unreachable but inspiring ideal that resonated with the human desire to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos. Beyond the Emerald Tablet, another work that carries the legacy of the Book of Thoth is the Corpus Hermeticum, a collection of esoteric texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. These texts delve into profound themes, such as the creation of the universe, the nature of the soul, and the power of thought to shape reality. Within these works, we find clear echoes of the myth of Thoth, especially in the idea that true power is tied to higher knowledge and control over the invisible forces that govern the physical world. The influence of the Book of Thoth can also be seen in alchemy, an esoteric practice that flourished in Europe during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. Alchemists, in their quest for the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life, often reference the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus and the hidden knowledge of ancient Egypt. For many alchemists, the Book of Thoth represented the supreme source of alchemical wisdom, a text that contained the secrets of transmutation, not only of metals, but of the soul itself. The quest for spiritual and material perfection, central to alchemy, echoes the legend of the Book of Thoth, which promised both power and self-knowledge. It is interesting to note that for many esoteric seekers, the Book of Thoth was not necessarily a physical book, but rather a metaphor for supreme knowledge that had to be sought through introspection, meditation, and spiritual enlightenment. This view is particularly prevalent in Kabbalistic traditions, where deep study and contemplation are seen as the path to accessing divine mysteries. The Kabbalah itself was influenced by elements of Hermetic wisdom, and references to the myth of Thoth often appear in discussions about the spheres of the Tree of Life and the hidden knowledge they represent. Another modern manifestation of the legacy of the Book of Thoth is found in the Thoth Tarot, a tarot deck designed by Aleister Crowley, a renowned 20th century occultist. Crowley, deeply influenced by Hermetic and Egyptian traditions, saw Thoth as the embodiment of esoteric knowledge. In his deck, he sought to encapsulate the principles of magic and hidden wisdom that he believed were associated with the myth of Thoth. Crowley's deck became one of the most famous and widely used in Western esoteric traditions, serving as a tool for meditation and divination, connecting users to the divine knowledge symbolized by Thoth. The figure of Thoth and the myth of his book also inspired secret orders and esoteric societies, such as Freemasonry and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. These organizations sought to reclaim the ancient hidden knowledge, believing it held the keys to spiritual development and the transformation of humanity. In the rituals of these orders, references to Thoth and his role as the divine scribe are common, and the sacred book he represents is often viewed as a symbol of the secret knowledge that is passed down only to the initiated. It is important to note that for many esoteric scholars, the Book of Thoth never existed as a literal text, but as a state of consciousness. Just as the Hermetic concept of as above, so below suggests that the knowledge of the cosmos can be found both in the universe and within ourselves, the Book of Thoth could be seen as a reflection of this truth. The wisdom contained in the book is not something external, but a representation of the supreme understanding that resides within each human being. This idea resonates with many spiritual traditions that emphasize self-knowledge as the path to enlightenment. Thus, the myth of the Book of Thoth is not limited to ancient Egypt, but continues to profoundly influence modern spiritual and esoteric practices. From Hermetic philosophy to the tarot, through secret orders and the study of alchemy, the legend of Thoth and his book continues to fuel the search for supreme knowledge and the power to control both the physical and spiritual worlds. As we reflect on these influences, one question remains. If the Book of Thoth truly contained the power to control the universe, what would that mean for humanity? In the next part, we will explore how the myth of the book relates to the eternal quest for control over destiny and the cosmos. We will examine what it ultimately means to have the power to shape reality itself. The promise contained in the myth of the Book of Thoth is not just of profound knowledge, but of unparalleled power, control over the universe. This idea has captivated the human imagination for millennia, from the earliest legends to modern esoteric interpretations. The ability to manipulate natural forces, control fate, and even defy death are themes that resonate through spiritual and mystical traditions throughout history. The Book of Thoth, with its offer of absolute power, symbolizes the pinnacle of this ambition, a quest that transcends the simple desire for knowledge and reaches into the very essence of existence. According to Egyptian myths, the Book of Thoth contained magical formulas and rituals that offered the reader mastery over the cosmos. Among these formulas were the secrets to manipulate time, control the weather, summon gods, and even resurrect the dead. This kind of power would transform the individual into a true creator, capable of reshaping reality at will. However, this manipulation of cosmic forces was not without risks. As we have seen, the knowledge contained in the book was also a spiritual test, and those not prepared to use it wisely could be consumed by their own desire for control. One of the most intriguing aspects of this quest for absolute power lies in the relationship between the individual and the universe. In many esoteric traditions, control over the cosmos is seen as a manifestation of internal mastery. Those who master their own emotions, thoughts, and spirit are, in a sense, in tune with the universal laws, and therefore in a position to influence external reality. This idea echoes the Hermetic principles, where what is above reflects what is below. The power of the Book of Thoth, then, would not simply be a tool to dominate the physical world, but a reflection of mastery over oneself. This perspective is crucial to understanding how the myth of the Book of Thoth has influenced esoteric practices throughout the centuries. Alchemists, magicians, and occultists often associated control over the universe with mastery over the elements of nature, believing that the key to this power lay in the balance between the four elements: earth, fire, water, and air, which, in the mystical view, compose all matter. To master the elements would be to master matter and, by extension, reality itself. This quest for elemental control, which appears in alchemical and magical rituals, finds resonance in the power attributed to the Book of Thoth. However, the idea of controlling the universe goes beyond physical manipulation of the elements. Many esoteric traditions also speak of the ability to influence time and space, domains that, for the common human being, seem immutable. The Book of Thoth, according to some legends, contained secrets to manipulate time, allowing its reader to travel between past, present, and future, or even alter the course of events. This concept of temporal control is deeply rooted in many mystical traditions and has resonance even in modern ideas of quantum physics, where time can be seen as a malleable dimension. The power to shape fate, another central theme of the Book of Thoth, has also been widely explored in esoteric traditions. Many believed that by accessing hidden knowledge, it would be possible to transcend the limits of human existence and shape one's destiny, breaking the cycle of life and death that governs all things. The idea of controlling fate resonates with the belief in immortality, one of the most coveted secrets by practitioners of alchemy. The quest for the Philosopher's Stone, for example, was not just a search for the transformation of metals into gold, but for spiritual transformation, immortality, and liberation from karmic cycles. This desire to control fate and achieve immortality is present in many stories related to the Book of Thoth. One such story tells of a pharaoh who, desperate to avoid his impending death, tried to use the book to extend his life. However, by manipulating the cosmic forces, he ended up disturbing the balance of the universe, resulting in a series of natural disasters. This story serves as a clear warning about the dangers of trying to control what should not be controlled, a theme that repeats in many legends involving the book. Beyond control over time and fate, the Book of Thoth also offered the ability to alter the perception of reality. Some believe that the power contained in the book included the ability to create illusions so convincing they could deceive even the gods. This raises profound questions about the nature of reality and how much it can be shaped by the mind. In esoteric traditions such as ceremonial magic, the control of perception is seen as a crucial skill to influence the physical world. If one can alter their own perception of the universe, then, in essence, they can alter the universe itself. This notion of control over reality is closely tied to the modern idea that consciousness creates reality. In contemporary esoteric studies, the idea that the mind has the power to influence the physical world finds parallels in quantum theories and the science of the mind. For many, the Book of Thoth symbolizes humanity's ability to transcend the limits imposed by physical reality and access a higher truth, a truth where the mind is the supreme creator. Over the centuries, the myth of the Book of Thoth continued to inspire those who sought control, not only over the external world, but over themselves. Renaissance magicians and occultists saw the book as an unattainable but inspiring ideal, something that symbolized the pinnacle of spiritual and material achievement. For these seekers, true control over the universe could only be attained by those who had completely mastered their own souls. As we advance in exploring the legacy of this mythical book, we encounter an intriguing question. Where, after all, is the Book of Thoth? Has it been lost forever, hidden somewhere inaccessible, or perhaps it never existed physically? In the next part, we will investigate the legends surrounding the supposed location of the Book of Thoth and explore theories suggesting it may be hidden not in some temple or tomb, but in a dimension beyond our understanding. Throughout history, the myth of the Book of Thoth has intrigued and captured the imagination of many knowledge seekers. But one question has always lingered over this legend. Where is the Book of Thoth? Did it exist at some point in history, or was it always a metaphorical symbol of unattainable knowledge? This question permeates ancient texts and discussions among occultists and historians. The legends surrounding the book give us clues, but they intertwine with fantasy and mystery, making it difficult to distinguish reality from fiction. According to some accounts, the Book of Thoth was lost forever, hidden somewhere in ancient Egypt. One of the most famous stories mentioned earlier involves Prince Setna-Kamwas, son of the great pharaoh Ramses II. He supposedly found the book in a secret tomb, guarded by vengeful spirits protecting the knowledge contained there. This account raises the possibility that the book was buried along with pharaohs or priests who wished to keep the knowledge hidden from unworthy hands. Many believe the book was placed in such a well-guarded location that only the purest or most initiated could discover it. The idea that the Book of Thoth is hidden in some lost temple or undiscovered tomb is a theory that continues to fascinate explorers and archaeologists today. Some suggest that the book might have been hidden deep within one of Egypt's oldest temples, such as the Temple of Luxor or Karnak, places already filled with mysteries. Others believe it might be buried beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the greatest symbols of ancient power and knowledge, or even in secret caves in the Valley of the Kings. But despite many expeditions and attempts to discover the book, it has never been found. There are also theories suggesting that the Book of Thoth is not, in fact, a physical object. According to some esoteric traditions, the book may represent a dimension of metaphysical knowledge, accessible only through higher consciousness or advanced spiritual states. In this sense, the Book of Thoth would not be hidden somewhere in the physical world, but in a dimension beyond our comprehension, accessible only to those who reach higher levels of spiritual understanding. For these practitioners, the true book resides in a spiritual plane, not a physical location. Another intriguing theory links the disappearance of the Book of Thoth to the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. This library, one of the largest in the ancient world, housed a vast amount of texts and manuscripts from various cultures, including Egypt. Some believe that the Book of Thoth might have been part of this lost collection, destroyed when the library was burned. If this is true, the knowledge contained in the book was lost forever, along with the other millions of volumes that disappeared in that tragedy. However, other esoteric thinkers maintain that, even if the physical book was destroyed, its knowledge survives in oral traditions and spiritual practices passed down through generations. Moreover, a more modern line of thought suggests that the Book of Thoth might be hidden, symbolically, within other esoteric works. Some scholars speculate that fragments of the knowledge contained in the book may have been incorporated into later texts, such as the Corpus Hermeticum, or even in Kabbalistic and alchemical writings. In this way, the book was not entirely lost, but its ideas were disseminated throughout history, appearing in different esoteric and magical traditions. Thus, seekers of wisdom would be reconstructing the book by piecing together these fragments scattered over time. There is also a line of thought that holds that the Book of Thoth was never a physical book, but rather a symbol of the enlightened mind itself. This concept proposes that the book's true secret is the ability of each individual to access divine knowledge through introspection, meditation, and spiritual development. In this case, the Book of Thoth would be a metaphor for the process of enlightenment and self-knowledge, and we all carry a version of it within us, waiting to be accessed when we are spiritually ready. These modern interpretations strongly resonate with mystical and spiritual traditions that emphasize inner knowledge as the path to enlightenment. Divine wisdom is not something that can be found in a physical object, but something that must be experienced and understood through spiritual practice. The legend of Thoth, with his role as the divine scribe and guardian of knowledge, symbolizes this inner journey toward truth. For those who follow this path, the true Book of Thoth is the state of enlightened consciousness that each individual can attain. Beyond these theories, there is a group of thinkers who suggest that the Book of Thoth may be hidden in secret societies that, over the centuries, have protected ancient knowledge. Orders like Freemasonry or the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which guard ancient esoteric rituals and secrets, may have access to fragments of this knowledge, keeping it hidden from the public to prevent its misuse. This idea fuels countless conspiracy theories that the book is in the hands of a select few who use it to maintain control over hidden aspects of the world. Regardless of where the book might be, if it exists physically at all, the impact of its legend is undeniable. The search for the Book of Thoth has become a metaphor for the ultimate search for knowledge, one that transcends the barriers of the physical world and connects us to the divine. The power promised by this book is also a warning. Not all knowledge is meant to be accessed by everyone, and the consequences of its reckless use can be devastating. However, the most provocative idea may be that the true secret of the Book of Thoth lies within us. Rather than searching in ancient temples or hidden tombs, the key to universal knowledge may reside in self-awareness and spiritual awakening. This inner journey is, in many ways, the central theme of countless spiritual traditions, and the myth of the Book of Thoth serves as a powerful representation of this quest. In the next part, we will explore the idea that Thoth's legacy and his book are rooted in an inner quest. We will examine how this hidden wisdom has shaped spiritual practices over the centuries, and how the search for universal knowledge continues to influence the spiritual journey of many today. As the mystery of the Book of Thoth deepens, one idea begins to emerge. Perhaps the book's true power does not lie in a physical artifact, but in inner knowledge, a form of wisdom that can only be attained through spiritual seeking. Indeed, many mystical traditions, both ancient and modern, point to the same principle. Divine knowledge cannot simply be taught or read in written pages. It must be experienced and understood through self-awareness. In this sense, the Book of Thoth can be seen as a metaphor for this inner quest, a path to spiritual awakening. Esoteric tradition emphasizes that the journey toward enlightenment is not simply an accumulation of information, but a process of inner transformation. For many, the Book of Thoth represents this process. The power to control the universe, promised by its pages, would actually be the power to master oneself, to understand the laws that govern both the physical and spiritual worlds. In this context, the true reader of the Book of Thoth is not the one who seeks external power, but the one who seeks balance, harmony, and wisdom within. In many spiritual traditions, we find the idea that higher knowledge cannot be accessed without proper preparation. This preparation involves not only intellectual study, but also the development of moral and spiritual qualities. The journey towards self-awareness requires the seeker to overcome their ego, learn to master their impulses, and find harmony between the internal and external worlds. In essence, the Book of Thoth can be understood as the symbol of this journey, where true power can only be accessed by those who are spiritually ready. This view is widely reflected in the traditions of Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and even Sufism and Buddhism. In all these practices, enlightenment is the result of profound inner transformation. In Hermeticism, the idea that, as above, so below, reinforces the notion that the external universe is a reflection of the internal universe. To control the outer world, one must first master the inner world. Thoth, as the god of wisdom and writing, represents this bridge between external knowledge and inner wisdom. In Buddhism, for example, the idea that enlightenment comes from detachment and deep understanding of the mind's nature reflects this inner quest. Likewise, in the Sufi tradition of Islam, the search for God is, in fact, a search for truth within oneself. In both these traditions, as in Hermeticism, the true power is not in changing the world, but in changing oneself. In this sense, the Book of Thoth is a symbol of that spiritual transformation, a guide for the seeker who wishes to transcend the limitations of material life and find eternal truth. Throughout history, many spiritual practices have developed methods to facilitate this path of self-awareness. Meditation, introspection, and contemplation are all tools used to access inner wisdom. These practices are not merely attempts to control the mind, but to achieve a deeper connection with the cosmos, to see beyond the illusions of physical reality. The Book of Thoth, in its essence, can be understood as a representation of these practices, a set of metaphorical instructions for attaining enlightenment. For example, in tarot, specifically Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot deck, each card represents an aspect of the spiritual journey and the universal laws. Crowley himself viewed the tarot as a tool for self-awareness, a way to access the unconscious and understand the invisible forces that shape life. Crowley's creation, inspired by the myth of Thoth, echoes the idea that hidden wisdom cannot be accessed by conventional means, but through deep exploration of the mind and spirit. This spiritual journey often requires a willingness to confront the darker aspects of oneself. The myth of the Book of Thoth warns of the dangers of mishandling knowledge, and this warning applies to self-awareness as well. In seeking inner truth, the individual inevitably encounters their flaws, fears, and deepest desires. The process of enlightenment, therefore, involves confronting and overcoming these dark aspects. Only when the seeker finds inner harmony can they access the deepest secrets of the universe. The idea that enlightenment can only be achieved through self-mastery is present in many esoteric traditions. In Hermeticism, the mind is seen as the creator of reality, and the ability to control thoughts and emotions is viewed as the key to controlling the physical world. Likewise, in Sufism, the purification of the heart is considered the path to finding God. For many modern esoteric thinkers, the Book of Thoth represents this process of inner purification, where true power lies in mastering oneself, not the world around. Thoth's legacy, then, extends beyond Egyptian mythology. It manifests in modern spiritual practices that emphasize self-awareness, enlightenment, and inner transformation. The journey in search of the Book of Thoth is ultimately a journey in search of oneself. And this journey, as many spiritual traditions emphasize, is never-ending. There is always more to discover, more layers of wisdom to be revealed. The true seeker never stops learning, never stops growing spiritually. In Hermetic tradition, this continuous cycle of learning is symbolized by the serpent devouring its own tail, the Ouroboros, which represents eternity and the infinite cycle of life and death. The Book of Thoth, in this sense, is a key to understanding this cycle, to realizing that true wisdom is not found at the end of the journey, but in the process of constant discovery. As we approach the conclusion of this exploration, one question remains: what does it truly mean to reach this level of wisdom? In the next part, we will conclude our journey by reflecting on the eternal impact of the myth of the Book of Thoth, and how it continues to inspire and influence the quest for divine wisdom and hidden knowledge. We have reached the culmination of our exploration of the myth of the Book of Thoth, a fascinating narrative that has traversed millennia and deeply rooted itself in spiritual and esoteric traditions. Since its emergence in ancient Egyptian mythology, the Book of Thoth has always been viewed as a representation of ultimate knowledge, offering its reader control over the universe and access to the deepest secrets of creation. However, as we have seen, its impact goes far beyond a mere mystical artifact. It has become a symbol of something greater, the ongoing quest for divine wisdom, self-awareness, and spiritual enlightenment. The myth of the Book of Thoth, with its promises of power and its warnings about the dangers of reckless knowledge, resonates to this day because it touches on universal and timeless themes. The human desire to understand the cosmos, to unravel the mysteries of life and death, and to reach a state of transcendence, is something that has always been present in our history. The book itself represents this quest, a journey both external and internal, where true power lies not only in manipulating reality, but in understanding its deeper workings. Over the generations, Thoth's legacy and his book have inspired various schools of thought and spiritual practices, from Hermeticism to Alchemy and Kabbalah. The image of Thoth as the divine scribe, the one who recorded and maintained cosmic order, became an archetype of wisdom and knowledge, and his book, a symbol of the quest for control over fate and reality. The myth of Thoth and his book also teaches us about the responsibility that comes with power. Supreme wisdom, as we have seen in many stories, can only be accessed by those spiritually ready to bear its weight. The impact of the Book of Thoth also transcends mythology and esoteric traditions. It permeated philosophy, science, and art over the centuries. During the Renaissance, when interest in ancient knowledge resurfaced, the myth of Thoth and his book became an ideal that many seekers of wisdom tried to reach. Alchemists, magicians, and philosophers believed that by reclaiming the lost knowledge of Egypt and other ancient cultures, they could unlock the secrets of creation and transformation. The Book of Thoth, in this sense, became a symbol of this relentless pursuit of truth and spiritual fulfillment. And yet, for many esoteric scholars, the greatest lesson of the Book of Thoth is that true power does not lie in manipulating the external world, but in transforming oneself. Throughout our journey, we explored the idea that the knowledge contained in the book might not be physical, but metaphysical, a reflection of the wisdom that exists within each of us. To access this knowledge, one must overcome the limitations of the ego, transcend fear and desire, and reach a state of harmony with the universe. This inner journey is the essence of the quest for enlightenment, a theme that runs through all spiritual traditions worldwide. In modern spirituality, the myth of the Book of Thoth continues to inspire practices that seek this inner wisdom. From tarot to meditation and ceremonial magic studies, people continue to search for ways to access the hidden knowledge that the book symbolizes. But as we have seen, the book is not hidden in a temple or cave. It is within each of us, waiting to be discovered through introspection and spiritual development. This view aligns with traditions of self-awareness that emphasize the importance of the mind and consciousness in creating reality. Thoth's wisdom, over the centuries, has served as a reminder that true power does not come from external mastery, but from internal balance. And this balance is what allows us to access the state of consciousness where the secrets of the universe can be revealed. Another important lesson of the myth of the Book of Thoth is the idea that supreme knowledge comes with great responsibility. In many stories about those who attempted to read the book, we see that the power to control the universe cannot be granted without proper preparation. The spiritual journey, therefore, is also one of discipline, moral growth, and readiness to handle supreme knowledge. The book, as a symbol, warns us of the dangers of seeking power without wisdom and reminds us that self-mastery is the key to true control. Finally, the eternal impact of the Book of Thoth is seen in the fact that its legend never disappeared. Even in modern times, the book continues to capture the imagination of scholars, mystics, and the curious. It reminds us that while knowledge can be sought externally, true wisdom is an inner journey that cannot be rushed or forced. The quest for the book, deep down, is the quest for ourselves, for what connects us to the divine and allows us to access the deepest secrets of the universe. As we conclude this journey through the myth and history of the Book of Thoth, one reflection remains. True wisdom is available to all who are willing to seek it with humility and patience. There are no shortcuts to enlightenment, just as there are no easy ways to access the power the book promises. The journey is, ultimately, more valuable than the destination, and Thoth's legacy teaches us that the pursuit of knowledge is infinite, a spiral that brings us closer and closer to truth, but never ends. With this, we conclude our exploration of the Book of Thoth, but the journey for wisdom continues. May this myth continue to inspire your own quest for inner knowledge, and may the lessons of Thoth guide your path in discovering the hidden secrets within yourself. Now that you know the mystery and power behind the Book of Thoth, one question remains. If you had the key to control the universe and access hidden secrets, what would you do with it? Imagine holding that power in your hands. What would be the first step in your journey of self-discovery? Share your reflections in the comments below. Mind unfettered. And this journey doesn't have to end here. In the next video, we will dive even deeper into one of the greatest secrets of spirituality. Activate your Merkaba light vehicle, the ancient secret to spiritual ascension and divine connection. If the Book of Thoth symbolizes universal knowledge, the Merkaba is the vehicle that takes us to it. Don't miss this incredible continuation. Just click on the video on your screen now.